Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian. It's Friday, March 13th. Thanks for staying with us. An early start for Her Majesty's coroner this morning as she was called to investigate another police-involved shooting here in the capital. Gunfire exchanged between an elderly man and Fox Hill police officers shortly before 7 a.m. The man, who was on bail for grievous harm, arrived at the Fox Hill police station to sign in as customary for persons on bail. After producing an identification card, he then produced a firearm pointing it at the officer, which forced that officer and another female officer to retreat to the back of the station. That's when this happened.
When they noticed the same male suspect appeared to be in search of them, the officers produced their weapons, discharged at the male suspect, who also fired on the officers. The male suspect then ran west along Ferguson Street, which they are on now. The officers pursued him. The officers, after they engaged him at this point, there was an exchange of gunshot between both the male suspect and the officers. The suspect was fatally shot.
That's Chief Superintendent of Police Solomon Cash, who said the victim was in his 70s. Now, Superintendent Cash told reporters on the scene that upon searching the man following the fatal shooting, it was found that he was in possession of 2 pistols. Now, when asked if it's protocol for officers to retreat when faced with a situation as such, here is Chief Superintendent Cash's response.
Yes, you want to protect your life as much as possible. Even though officers may be armed, if a gun is pointed at you before you have an opportunity, the likelihood of you being shot and killed is there. So the officers did the right thing, ran in that case until he was able to prepare himself better to engage the suspect.
Chief Superintendent Cash says at this time they do not know the intention of this latest victim. However, the police will continue to investigate. This is the 6th police-involved shooting and the 4th fatality, according to JCN's records. Chief Superintendent Cash reiterating comments made by National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who recently stated that if criminals engage police officers, they will lose.
But again, I can't speak to the intent of people, but I can tell you the police, we are mandated to protect and serve. And our constitutional rights, we have to protect our lives first, and then we will protect those of the citizens of the Bahamas. So I would say to persons out there who would think about engaging the police that they should cease. It's not a good thing to do. Okay, you'll be putting yourselves in danger because we are trained with weapons. And I want them to understand if you produce or pull a weapon on us, we would use our weapons, to protect our lives. And that's the way it is.
Chief Superintendent Cash said both officers were unharmed but are traumatized. No one else was injured in this latest police-involved shooting. Another homicide here in the capital. An adult female was gunned down shortly before midnight Thursday. Police say 2 females were approached by 3 males at a residence on Carmichael Road east of Lazaretto Road, one of them armed with a firearm. The armed male then opened fire on the females, injuring one of them. Emergency medical personnel were called to the scene and attempted to resuscitate the woman, but were unsuccessful. The killing of this female follows a shooting in the same area early Sunday morning, where police found the lifeless body of an adult male in bushes in an unnamed area off Carmichael Road. Police are now appealing to members of the public who may have information that can assist with this investigation to contact the Central Detective Unit at 502-9991 or 2, Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, that's 328-8477, or the nearest police station. Investigations are ongoing. Grand Bahama also recording a homicide on that island in the early hours this morning. That homicide took place in 8 Mile Rock. Shortly before 1 a.m., police were called to the Sunset Village area at that island's local fish fry on Bayshore Road, where there were reports of gunshots being fired. When officers arrived on the scene to investigate, it was revealed that there was an altercation between a group of males, which led to the fatal shooting of one of the males and the wounding of a female. Police indicate that while the female victim received non-life-threatening injuries to her leg, the male victim received multiple gunshot wounds about the body. He was transported to the emergency section of the Rand Memorial Hospital, where he was treated by a doctor but later succumbed to his injuries. Police say they are currently following significant leads into this matter as investigations are ongoing. Senior officer of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Assistant Commissioner Ken Strawn, was in court today. ACP Strawn is suing the government, having filed legal action and naming Attorney General Carl Bethel as the defendant. ACP Strawn's suit surrounds the circumstances and terms of a letter dated the 9th day of December 2019 that purported to transfer him to the Willie Mae Pratt and Simpson Penn Centers, which his attorney Wayne Monroe says is unlawful in its terms as it mounts to the dismissal of the ACP from his post. Well, in providing JCN's news team with an update, Mr. Monroe says the defendant, the Attorney General, had not filed evidence, and today's proceedings before Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson was a case management hearing. The matter was adjourned to April 30th when, according to Mr. Monroe, they will know the Attorney General's position on the matter. Once this is known, he added, then both parties will know how much time they need for a hearing. That will then lead to clear trial date. As for an update to ACP Clayton Fernander and ACP Lehman Delaveau, Mr. Monroe says ACP Fernander is still waiting on the list from the Minister of Health, and ACP Delaveau is waiting on his meeting with the Minister of Education. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.